Hey, this is Jamie Serber with North Carolina A&T Figure Out Baseball. This is our second video on our flat ground sequence, so if you haven't watched the first video, make sure you go back and watch stand-up flat ground drill first. This is our second in the sequence, flat ground follow-through, where we're going to be working on our finish. We're going to be in the same position as our stand-up drill that we did in the first video. So we're going to start with 80% of our stride, 60% of our weight back. We're going to focus on the same things as when we're rocking back. Make sure our hands are moving and we get to the top of our arm circle before we transition forward. And on this drill, we're going to focus on getting our back leg high. So we want to work on our finish, our follow through. That's what we call the flat ground follow through. So rock all the way back, make sure our back heel is getting high on our finish, and we want to keep everything working in one motion. So when we rock back, our hands are separating, get to the top of our arm circle, and as we transition forward, we'll make sure our ball is following our glove down. What we don't want, you can see from the front, is our front side flying open this way. We'll make sure we get to the top of our arm circle, and our ball is going to follow our glove down, so we're staying in one piece on our rotation. Our arm is always staying connected to the glove when we finish and follow through down. So when we're separating, it doesn't really matter if you have a long arm circle like I do. I always had a long arm circle. You can have a shorter arm circle, kind of like Joe Kelly for the Boston Red Sox, but we do want to make sure when we're going back that our hand is in time with our weight moving with our back hip. So as we're going back, we'll make sure this is always in good time, because we do have to some way get to the top of our arm circle before we can go forward. Because if we're going forward from this position right here, you're most likely going to open up that front side, expose our chest, and release the ball way back here. It's going to be a up and arm side miss. We want to make sure we're getting downhill, getting to the front of our arm, and getting to a good extension on our finish. So it's good. You see Mikey is not spinning on his front foot. We want to make sure our front foot's staying flat on the ground. We're not rotating over to the outside of our foot, and he's getting his back heel very high. Good. Good timing with the arm circle. And good piece. And also when you're doing this drill, just like our stand-up drill, you can go 4 seams away, 2 seams in. Very simple on what we're doing. So it'd be glove side and arm side. If you haven't learned what that is, go back to the stand-up drill, watch that drill, and it explain what glove side and arm side is. So when we're doing this, he's going to go 4 seam away to a right-handed hitter, glove side, and then he'll move to the arm side, throw the 2 seam into a right-handed hitter. You don't have to do the 2 seam in, you can go 4 seam in if you want to, but just for our purposes, we usually try and work on our 2 seam in mostly before we learn how to throw the 2 seam glove side. So when we're doing the flat ground follow through drill, we want to be about 50 to 55 feet away, so we're going to be a little bit further back than the stand-up drill. We do about 10 reps of this before we move on to the next one. The last video will be the balance point drill, balance point flat ground drill. Be sure to check that out next. This is Jamie Serber with North Carolina A&T Baseball.